So now, hold on. So now what occurs is I'm weaker. She feels better. Her orgasm feels better. And now the thing about that is she has won. If you want to speak in the terms of winning and losing, it's not really about winning and losing, but if we have to put a name or a label on it, she feels better. And another thing is this. I was doing also studies about evolution, and I quote, not the evolution about evolving from monkeys or anything, but just the evolution of life, just the evolution of human beings or atoms, or even the fact that a man ejaculates in a woman and impregnates her, that's evolution. So I'm talking about that evolution. So even in the concept of evolution, a woman is, I'm kind of hesitant to say win and lose because I don't want it to be brought like win and lose, but if I have to put a label on it, she's benefiting. She's benefiting from my sex. Now, another thing that I studied and come to find out was, and I posed this question to my listeners. I posed this question to my listeners, and as I'm talking, like I said, this is a freestyle. So as I'm talking, I'm getting more things in my head to talk about, but I have to kind of, make sure I'm going in the right direction. And like I said, repitan Spanish. This is a freestyle. The woman. Now I'm thinking about something and my wheels are turning in my brain. We're going to talk about rarity. Now, I'm going to pose a question to you guys as viewers. Can you tell me the difference or what makes platinum more valuable than gold? Or what makes gold more valuable than silver? And hence silver more valuable than copper? And I kind of gave it before a little because I was thinking as I was speaking as I was thinking. I kind of gave the hint, but it's rarity. Rarity is what makes platinum more valuable than gold. For example, there's less platinum. There's rarer samples of platinum on this planet than there is gold. Therefore, thus making the platinum more valuable than the gold. So I said that to say this. Also step back, reverting to what I was saying about evolution. I've studied evolution and come to find out there's a ratio, there's an imbalance of men on this earth. Not just to speak on this earth as far as being born, but if you just take into consideration men being killed, there's more men being killed than women because the aggressiveness or the testosterone of men versus men. So there's more men being killed. Not to mention also there's more men in prison than there are women in prison. So that creates an imbalance. That creates an imbalance even besides the natural and the evolution of it, but that creates the additive balance of not enough men or more women than there are men. So logically, and this is just my views, logically I said, well, that makes the man the rarer of the two. That means there's less men on this planet or on this planet than there are women. So therefore, I am the rare species, especially me being a real one. And everybody, my friends, they know the slang when I say I'm a real one. You probably know too, but I really emphasize I am a real one. There's less real ones, not to mention the ones that aren't alive, that aren't in prison, and I am a real one. There's not too many of us out here. So I said that to say this. So now when we come across these women, we are the rare species. And remember, I gave you the example of the platinum being more valuable. And I'm not saying in the sense of winning and losing, but I have to put a label on it for people to understand it. I have to put a physicality on it for us to get an understanding of and this goes all the way back to responsibility and roles. But it's a step-by-step process of you learning who you are from the very beginning to understanding what your role and responsibilities are. So back to what I was saying. So if I'm the rarer species of the man and the woman, then that means that I'm more valuable. That means that a real one is hard to come by. So therefore, when I'm chosen by these women or a woman, so whichever way you believe, she should take in accord or in count what she's really getting. So I revert back to what I was saying about the whole sex thing. So not just the physicality of the sex thing, me losing my strength, her orgasm feeling better, and me being the rarer of the two, making me more valuable, if that's what you want to call it. All those come into play and lets me know that sex is more valuable to her that the union or the combination should be, if you're a real one, more valuable than her than it is to me. And that goes off to furthermore, and I spoke about this on the second installment about the Lion Kingdom having more than one, and I'm pretty sure it's going to be a lot of debates, a lot of Facebooks and Twitters, and I welcome all of it. But the reality is, this is the truth. I mean, you can agree with it, you can fight it, you cannot. But any real woman that's been living and really looking for answers and really wants to know the truth, she'll know that every man that she's encountered has these concepts, and they may hide. And it's crazy. Quick sidebar, because I've had this debate and discussion before, and it's set in your mind as a woman to believe what you have been brainwashed to believe, and that's into the one woman, one man union. You are set to believe that through modern day culture. So I'm not trying to brainwash you now immediately, and it's not going to, the brainwashing didn't occur overnight, so the healing process is not going to occur overnight. This is a step process. So what I was saying was, women may say, oh, well, not my man, not my dude. I'm the only one he needs. I'm the only one. Get a life, lady. Please don't believe that. Don't think that for a moment. Now, you might be the one he loves. You might be the one he's quote-unquote weak for. You might be the one he wants. But don't think for a second that that man don't have inner or natural feelings to go outside of that quote-unquote committed relationship, or go outside of that relationship, or go outside of that bond and union and sleep with another woman. And it may be for no reason. It doesn't necessarily mean he doesn't love you, but that's another discussion altogether as well that I'll get on. But it doesn't mean that he doesn't love you. This is just naturally built in a man. And any real woman knows, any woman that's been dealing with men and understands. And I'm going to tell you this. I was trying to figure out, well, what's an example of a man who could possibly be faithful? Now, don't get me wrong. Like I said, all men have this in them. But I took the worst scenario. I took a mentally ill, unattractive, low self-esteem, no money having young man. And I conjured this man up in my head. And I said, well, maybe if he came across all those things that would balance him out, maybe he wouldn't, quote unquote, cheat, if you want to call that. And we got to describe cheat. I'll describe that later, maybe in a later installment, but remind me if you Facebook or Twitter me. In a later installment. Now, I came with this person, and I was like, well, maybe he won't cheat, quote unquote, quote fingers, because she's balancing him out, because he's really nothing. He's really not a man, but that's up for, opinion or debate. So she may balance, but a real king, a real man who's not in denial or who's not going to lie, quote unquote, lie about who he is and what he feels as a man, he's going to have these desires and aspirations to sleep with other women. Now, the thing about that is this. I took that worst man, and I said, well, in that case, and I posed this to a lady friend, I said, okay, let's take this guy. But guess what? He's not a king. He may be a jester. He might be a locksmith. He might be a farmer. He might be a shepherd boy. And I said, well, if that's what you want. And she said, yeah, I'll take a shepherd boy. I'll take a locksmith, whatever she was saying. She said she'll take, just as long as he's faithful. So I said, first and foremost, you don't want a king, right? And for the sake of argument, she said, no, I don't want a king. I want a shepherd boy. I said, okay, but I'm going to tell you this. Behind the scenes, this is what I'm telling you, this is the catch. The thing is, that jester who you might choose, that farmer boy who you might choose, that shepherd boy, whoever you may choose, you might want to choose a queen, but that's another discussion altogether as well. Deep inside, maybe not even deep inside, that shepherd boy, that jester, wants to be that king. Wants to be running that castle. So the dude who you're choosing is really not who he wants to be. So are you choosing that man because of your comfortability or because you want him to cater to you? No. If you want a real man or a real king, you need to choose as such. Because if you, like I said, if you're choosing that farmer, if you're choosing that shepherd boy, whatever you're choosing is a person who really wants to be that king with the harem, with many women, with his king, with his queen. And that's another discussion together. Facebook me, I'll tell you about the specifics of a queen. But he wants those concubines. He wants those harems. He wants to live the life of the king. It's crazy because I was reading a book. I'm not going to name drop the book. And it was talking about every man wants power. Every man wants to be that man. Every man wants to be that king. But because of conditions that life has put him in, he has settled. And in settling, that creates a mental settling. So now his life starts to be what he's going through. And these conditions, limitations begin to weigh on him, and he becomes less of that man. So now he puts himself in that box. He puts himself in that cube, and he becomes that man. When deep inside, if he had to do all over, or if he had it his way, he would want to be Gerald. He would want to be King Gerald Jones. He would want to be standing in front of this mic telling you the things that I'm telling you. But because he's who he is, and and it's crazy, and even the Bible says don't give your power to women, because he has given his power to women, and he has let brainwashing women in the mass society dictate who he is as a man. He is a victim of circumstances. And that's what I refuse to be. And if you want to strive aspirations for perfection, perfection mentally, perfection financially, and perfection physically, you're not going to let any conditions or any circumstances dictate who you are as a man, or furthermore, dictate who you are as a king. It's just not going to happen. And that's why I'm standing here in front of this mic and giving these dissertations and salutations of what a man is and what a man is not. Like I said, this is only the third installment. It gets way deeper. This is just surface things that I need. And this may be deep a little bit for some. And I forgot to give verbal warning. Verbal warning. If you don't have an invested interest in the truth or in knowledge, you will not appreciate this artistry. I repeat, you will not repeat this artistry. But if you're intelligent and if you're looking for the answers, if you're a woman looking to find out why is this man doing this, then here are the answers. I got them for you. It's crazy because, no, it's not crazy. For lack of a better word, it's crazy because I talk also about philosophers or philosophies. I spoke on the other two installments that we have no modern philosophers. We only have what has been set in the church or what has been already set in stone back in the ancients. But this is a new day. As I said before, we have the internet, we have TVs, we have cars, we have things going on. So those same rules can apply to right now. And I hope people understand that because it's real simple, to be honest with you. It's simple to me, but maybe what's simple to me is complex to the next man, and that's what I'm here for. I'm here for that. So I will do my job as such. I appreciated your time. I appreciate your ears. I appreciate your listening. I appreciate your brain, and I appreciate you for taking any kind of thought into the things that I'm saying. Once again, you can find me on Facebook and you can find me on Twitter, King Gerald Jones. That's a wrap for the show for today. You guys have a good morning, and I will talk to you later. Thank you.